Okay. So step 1, cross multiply. Step 2, solve for the variable. Step 3, check for extraneous solutions. And that means we're looking for where the denominator equals 0 and making sure that the answer that we get is not one of those solutions. Okay, example 1. 3 over 5x equals 2 over x minus 7. So first thing we have to do is we're going to cross multiply. So we have 2 times 5x equals 3 times x minus 7. And so the first thing we need to do here is use distributive property. So we have 10x equals 3x minus 21. And we want to solve for x here. So we're going to subtract 3 from both sides, or 3x, sorry. Which gives me 7x equals negative 21. Divide both sides by 7, and I get x equals negative 3. Now, before we can completely 100% say that this is our correct answer, we need to check the denominators to what makes those 0 so that we can see if there are any irrelevant or extraneous solutions. So we're going to set 5x equal to 0 and x minus 7 equal to 0. So I get x equals 0 and x equals 7. So where it says extraneous solutions, we want to write x cannot equal 0 or 7. That's what it means. What can x not equal? 0 or 7. So is the answer that we got okay? Yeah. It's not 0 and it's not 7. So negative 3 is our solution. That's all we're doing.
Why can't you just do that for
Okay, example 2. 3 over x plus 1 equals 9 over 4x plus 5. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is cross multiply. So we have 9 times x plus 1 equals 3 times 4x plus 5. We're going to distribute, and I get 9x plus 9 equals 12x plus 15. And then we solve for x. Now, because 9x is smaller than 12x, I'm going to move that one just so that I can keep my x's positive. It really doesn't matter, so you can do whichever one you want. So we get 9 equals 3x plus 15. Subtract 15 from both sides. And I get negative 6 equals 3x. Divide both sides by 3. X equals negative 2. Okay. Now, because we have x's in the denominator, we have to check for our extraneous solutions. So we're going to set each of those denominators equal to 0. Subtract 1, and I get x equals negative 1. Subtract 5. 4x equals negative 5. Divide by 4. X equals negative 5 over 4. So my extraneous solutions, x cannot equal negative 1 or negative 5 over 4. So is our answer of negative 2 okay?
Yep.
Yes, it's okay. Example 3. This time we have 1 over 2x plus 5 equals x over 11x plus 8. Okay. So in this case, we actually have an x both in the denominators and in the numerators. but we're still going to check at the end for our extraneous solution. So what we're going to do first is just cross multiply. So x times 2x plus 5 equals 1 times 11x plus 8. And then we distribute. It will end up being a trinomial. So we're going to get 2x squared plus 5x equals 11x plus 8. Okay, now because I have an x squared up here, I'm actually, instead of trying to solve for get x by itself, I'm going to move all of the other terms to the left side. So we're going to set the whole thing equal to 0. Okay?
Should I have it the other way?
Okay, so we're going to subtract 11x and subtract 8 from both sides. So that's going to give me 2x squared minus 6x minus 8 equals 0. Okay, so how do I solve this?
Bottoms up.
Can I do bottoms up? There's a GCF. Let's factor out the GCF of 2. So that's going to give me minus 3x minus 4 equals 0. Okay, what method are you going to use here? Diamond. So what two numbers multiply to negative 4 and add up to negative 3? Negative 4, positive 1. Okay. Okay, now what do I do? Very good. I set them all equal to 0. So 2 equals 0, x minus 4 equals 0, x plus 1 equals 0. Can 2 ever equal 0? No, so we don't even have to worry about it. Okay, so for this one, we add 4 to both sides, and I get x equals 4. And on the third one, I subtract 1 from both sides, and x equals negative 1. So we have 2 answers for this one. Now this is when we really want to check for our solution, our extraneous solution. So let's set each of those denominators equal to 0. 2x plus 5 equals 0, and 11x plus 8 equals 0. 2x plus 5 right here. So we're looking at the denominators. Okay, so I subtract 5, and I get 2x equals negative 5. Divide by 2, x equals negative 5 over 2. And then we do the same thing on the other one. We subtract 8 first. 11x equals negative 8. Divide both sides by 11. X equals negative 8 over 11. So what can x not equal? Negative 5 over 2 and negative 8 over 11. Okay? So are the 2 answers that we got okay? Yeah, so our 2 answers for x here are x equals 4 and negative 1. Nine over x squared minus 6x plus 9 equals 3x over x squared minus 3x.
Can you factor it before you...
We could factor it and then cancel some stuff out, right? We don't want to do that because if we were to cancel some terms out, that means that we're getting rid of a couple of our x's, which could affect our answers. So we want to just leave everything the way it is first. Okay? But that's a good question. So we don't actually want to factor anything yet. We first want to do our cross multiplying and solve. So we're going to get 3x times x squared minus 6x plus 9 equals 9 times x squared minus 3x. Okay, let's distribute. So we would get 3x to the third minus 18x squared plus 27x. 3x, what? 3x to the third? 3 times 9, 27x.
No, on the other side, it's not squared.
Oh no, I was accidentally writing a squared. I fixed it. 9x squared minus 27x. Okay? Let's get everything over to the other side. So we're going to subtract 9x squared and add 27x. That gives me 3x to the third minus 27x squared plus 54x equals 0. Okay, what can I do next? GCF of 3x. Let's factor out a 3x. That leaves me with 3x squared minus 9x plus 18 equals 0. Now what? Diamond. So we have 3x times two numbers that multiply to positive 18 and add up to negative 9. Negative 6, negative 3. Okay, so I factored the whole thing out. Now what do I want to do? Set everything equal to 0. Right, so we have 3x equals 0, x minus 6 equals 0, and x minus 3 equals 0. And we solve all three of these. So I'm going to divide by 3, and I get x equals 0. Add 6, x equals 6. And add 3. So x equals positive 3. So we have three answers here. 0, 6, and positive 3. Okay. We do want to first check, though, for any extraneous solution. So we're going to set each of these denominators equal to 0. Okay, so we have, I'm going to do mine off to the side right here. X squared minus 6x plus 9 equal to 0. And x squared minus 3x equal to 0. Now I can factor. So how does this one factor? Diamond. Negative 3 and negative 3. So we get x minus 3 equals 0. X minus 3 equals 0. So we actually get the same answer for both of these, right? We get x equals positive 3. And for the second one, what can I do? GCF, I factor out a 3, or an x, I'm sorry. So we get x minus 3 equals 0. X equals 0, and x equals positive 3. So what are my extraneous solutions? X cannot equal 3 or 0. Okay, look at the answers that we got. What does that do here? We can't use this one, we can't use 0, and we can't use 3. So how many actual answers do I have? Just one. X equals 6. Which is why we have to check for those extraneous solutions.